Welcome everyone to the Honest Review. Myself, like many of you in the gaming community, have invested in a good old pair of gaming headphones in hopes of having better audio quality, a higher level of immersion in the games that we love to play, and possibly a competitive edge, especially when it comes to shooter games and being able to hear your enemy's positions accurately. But what if I told you gaming headphones weren't the best headphones for gaming? Now, my personal quest for a higher level of audio fidelity started with the Astro A40s. Now, to be transparent, this pair of Astro A40s is 4 years old. This isn't even the most current generation of Astro A40s that are out. Now, they do pair with the good old Astro A40s Mixamp, which is technically a DAC. For those of you who don't know, and to keep things really simple, a DAC is pretty much an amplifier to give high quality headphones all the power that they need to give you clear, clean audio. Now, I love my A40s and I have sworn by these things for years, but I've constantly heard that gaming headphones cannot compare to a high quality pair of studio headphones. So today we're going to be reviewing the BeyerDynamic DT990 Premium Package Studio Headphones. Now, this set of BeyerDynamics is running at 250 ohms, and because it is the premium package, it differs ever so slightly from the BeyerDynamic DT990 Pros. Now, because this is a 250 ohm headset, I could not power these with my old Astro A40 Mixamp. It just doesn't push out enough power for these headphones. So to complement this pair of headphones and give them all the power they could need, I did pick up a G6 by Sound Blaster X. Now, this thing can power headsets all the way up to 600 ohms, so running these 250 ohm DT990 Premiums will be no problem. Now, I did absolutely no customization to the audio profiles on board the G6, so everything should be coming as a stock sound signature, and all audio coming out of my system was digital optical, so this should be the cleanest, purest form of sound possible for testing this headphones. So coming out of the box, we can see the design for this headset is very simple. The premium package does differ slightly from the Pros in the grill that's in the back of the headset, as well as the padding on the headband. Metal framework leading into the ear cups and connecting to the headband. Standard height adjustment. Velour padding in the ear cups, but you can replace these with leather ear cups if you want. I know Massdrop had some of these released, but they're also on Amazon as well. I do prefer this style of ear cups over leather ear cups because they breathe so much better and it just reduces so much heat around your ears. Now, the ear cups themselves do swivel somewhat, but it isn't a complete swivel like we see on the Astro A40s. There is a velour cover and padding across the top of the headband, and this is also replaceable just like the ear cups. There's no major branding on the headset besides the sides where you see BeyerDynamic, and then along the grills of the ear cups where it says DT990. For those of you who wear glasses and are worried whether or not the clamping force on the headset is going to be too much and it won't be comfortable, the ear cups themselves did mold really well as soon as I put a pair of glasses on, and the clamping force on the 990 Premium package is much less than the clamping force that you find on the 990 Pros. Now, the cable on the 990 Premium package is different from the cable on the Pros in that it isn't coiled. It is a straight cable, and all these cables are not removable. So if you do end up with a pair of these headphones, make sure that you preserve the cable. But let's get to the nitty gritty. How did the Astro A40s with the Mixamp, which is about a $250 setup, stack up against the BeyerDynamics DT990 Premiums running on a Sound Blaster G6, which is about a $350 setup? And I'm gonna have to tell you guys right now, there was no competition. As soon as I got everything plugged up and just spent a day with them playing games, listening to music, and watching some shows, I realized I didn't understand what high quality, high fidelity audio was until I ran this setup. If I had to compare these two headsets, the BeyerDynamics win by a landslide. Using the BeyerDynamics helped me realize how muddy and not clear certain parts of audio were coming from my Astros. Now, when I talk about audio clarity, I'm talking about being able to hear my enemy's footsteps or a pair of enemy footsteps. I can tell easily whether or not they're reloading their weapon or moving towards me or away from me or climbing a ledge. Gunshots, explosions, grenades going off, enemies in all directions. I could still hear my audio cues crystal clear, and it helps me react to my enemies in game and win those fights. But don't get me wrong, I am no pro. I die like everybody else. I really couldn't believe it because for so long I've considered the high tier gaming headsets like the A40s, A50s, the high tier Studio Series, etc. all to be endgame audio for gamers. And now I finally realized what I was missing out on. That whole what I was missing effect also came forward even stronger when I started to listen to the music that I like. There were so many songs that I have heard hundreds, if not thousands of times, and listening to them on a high quality pair of studio reference headphones was like listening to them for the first time. I started hearing things in the music that I love that I didn't realize were there. No exaggeration, it's like a whole new world, a whole new level of audio fidelity and clarity. I know y'all probably think I'm crazy, man. Some of you guys are like, yeah, it can't be that good, but it just really is that much of a difference. I wish that I could accurately describe for you guys the sound signature that I get from the DT990s, but the truth is that they're just so well balanced that there is no one part of the sound spectrum that takes over or overpowers the other. So whether or not it's your deep bass, your mids, or your piercing highs, everything is just perfectly balanced in a really wonderful harmony. Now the DT990s are an open back headset, which means they don't close in all of that audio. They let it breathe in order to create a wider sound stage. Now my old Astro A40s were actually a closed back headset because the back is closed off, but I actually consider these to be a semi-open back because you see this opening right here on the side. We can actually take this cover off and then we have an open back headset. Now the reason people like a good old closed back headset is because it doesn't allow a bunch of the outside audio in, and it also focuses all the audio that you're getting from these drivers. Now on the 990s, this is an open back headset and it allows some outside audio in naturally because it's not completely closed off, but it also changes the way that the audio chemistry happens inside the ear cups. Now I also want to point out the ear cup design for the Astro A40s. It's kind of got a rectangle look and it looks like this could be a little snug on our ears, but once we try it on, it does fit perfectly around our ears. It isn't uncomfortable or too tight, but it's still kind of a tight fit in there. Now on the DT990s, you'll notice we have a big, wide, open ear cup. It also bezels and recesses in somewhat. Now when I put these on, my ears never hit the inside wall of the actual speaker itself, and there's just so much more room for the audio to move around inside of the ear cup. I definitely preferred the comfort from these and how much lighter they are than my Astro A40s. So what are the pros and cons to a high tier studio headset setup versus a gaming headphone setup? For the pros, you're gonna experience audio, whether or not it's in-game, watching movies, listening to music like you never have before. The con undoubtedly is that a high tier studio reference headphone setup is going to be way more expensive than a gaming headphone setup. If we're talking about pros and cons specifically to the BeyerDynamic DT990 Premiums, I love everything about this headset except for the cable because it's not removable. If I damage this cable whatsoever, I'm gonna have to send this headset in to have it serviced. Now the reason the BeyerDynamics don't have a removable cable like my Astro A40s, if I ever damage a cable, I can just buy a replacement. For convenience, that is amazing. But every time you make a connection, whether or not it's to the headphones themselves or to your Mixamp or to your PC or controller, etc., every single connection can add an ever so slight, minute amount of interference. And because these are high tier studio reference headphones, they don't want any possible interference affecting your audio that they can avoid. So in a way, I like that there's not a removable cable because I'm avoiding one level of possible interference and increasing my audio fidelity, but at the same time, if I damage this cable, I am out of luck. For those of you with gaming headphones with mics built in and that being possibly important to you, I actually found a workaround for this by having the mod mic wireless. Just pops right onto the side of the headset and I'm good to go. Now the BeyerDynamic DT990 Premiums 250 ohm headset comes in at $200, but the BeyerDynamic DT990 Pros, which is not the premium package, that's still 250 ohms, comes in at around 150 bucks. So if I was pairing that $150 headset with an $150 DAC, we're looking at a $300 audio setup. So the question really is, do you want audio fidelity of that grade? If you're happy with your existing audio setup, then don't change it. For me, this pair of headphones isn't only for gaming and music, it's also for my video editing. But for those of you out there who are curious as to why so many streamers use BeyerDynamic's or Sennheiser studio headphones instead of gaming headphones, you really might want to try them out. I'm sure there's a lot of specs and specifics that some of you guys wanted, and I don't like just reading off a spec sheet during my review, so I will have all of that information linked down in the description below. In conclusion, this was really an experiment for me to see whether or not there was a major difference coming from high-tier gaming headphones into real studio-grade headphones. And the answer obviously is yes. If you guys enjoyed this no-nonsense, no BS review of the legendary BeyerDynamic DT990 Premium Package 250 ohm headphones, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the content, it is greatly appreciated. Notification Squad, you guys freaking rock. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Peace.